Sit rep as follows.
Transaction approved.
No, they're here already. Since last night's declaration of martial law, soldiers are moving in to secure key areas in all
Alright, Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Basically, I just wanted to go into this. It'll be a multi-part video. Alright, and this will be part one, going into the what is called the King Alfred plan. Okay, code name Rex 84. Okay, and this is Rex 84 basically stands for Readiness Exercise 1984, and this is a plan, all right, that the U.S. government, starting with these elites, okay, have put in place. They've planned this out, okay, for what they're gonna do, all right, in the future, in the very near future. And who is this targeting? Primarily the minorities, all right, what this world will refer to as minorities, which are really the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are the primary target of this right here. All right, and so I'm gonna start off with this first precept before I go into it. All right, so this is Micah chapter 2 verse 1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds." All right, that them is talking about these elites. Okay, these Rothschilds, these Rockefellers, you know what I mean, all these, you know, these top rich people that you barely ever see. That's them. Okay, they devise iniquity, meaning they come up with wickedness. You know, they think about these wickedness and like something like this. All right, which I'll read it and get into it, and you'll see just what it's really about. All right, it says and work evil upon their beds. All right, because that's where they you know, in their mansions and wherever they at, their meetings and so on and so forth. That's when they put these plans and legislations into place. Okay. It says, when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And really quickly, I'll just get this. All right, while I'm here. Okay, it says because it is in their hand. Why? Because the Bible tells you, Job chapter 9 verse 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, and he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? This wicked. Matter of fact, let me just prove that real quick. That wicked is talking about who? Like, yeah. I believe it's Malachi, the first chapter. Okay, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. That wicked is referring unto these Edomites, the so-called Caucasians. All right, this is Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. Call who? The Edomites, and the people and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation, meaning righteous anger forever. All right, so that's who these Edomites are. They're the wicked that the Lord has given the earth into temporarily, which is why they're able to practice these plans and devise this iniquity, because it's in the power of their hands. All right, so let's get into it. It says King Alfred plan / code name Rex 84, totally repugnant to the United States Republic Constitution for people under its protection. All right, meaning that, you know, in your because when things like this, they've designed to declare in a state of emergency. All right, these are powers that they really get and plans that they really plan to put in place in a state of emergency. where they suspend your constitution and they get to do whatever they please. All right, because of all these secret legislations which they passed, all right, under the radar when people weren't paying attention. All right, so it says the first plan introduction, the plan first appeared in John A. Williams' 1967 novel, The Man Who Cried I Am, a fictionalized account of the life and death of Richard Wright. In the afterword to later editions, William compares the King Alfred plan to intelligence programs devised by J. Edgar Hoover in the 1960s to monitor the movements of black militants. Okay, black militants. And guess what? That's what they refer to us as. All right, that's what they see us as. Really, we're Hebrew Israelites, but why do you think they keep trying to push that label and that propaganda of black Hebrew Israelites? And then they infiltrate these big groups like IUIC, so on and so forth, and put them at the face of it. All right. See, when a lot of people hear of Israelites, they see, all right, the purple garments and the yellow writings and stuff, and they associate all of us with it. So if they're able to infiltrate and get these people to sell out, then whatever actions these people go and take, all right, whatever militant actions, all right, here you have them shooting at the gun range and making videos talking about revolutions with guns and so on and so forth. Them doing that is gonna come upon all of us. They're gonna round all of us up under the guise of oh, we're all one, basically. We're all black militants, you know. So it says it also bears similarities to rumors in the early 1950s surrounding the McCarran Act, an anti-communist law in which political subversives were to be rounded up and placed in concentration camps during a national emergency. All right, let's get this real quick. Okay, for edification's sake. All right, it says what? A subversive person, synonyms: a troublemaker. All right, revolutionary, renegade, rebel, and that's what they're gonna deem us. Why? Because we're not bowing down to this society. So when they're gonna deem us what? Enemies of the state, because we refuse to take the RFID microchip, which the Bible lets you know that that's the mark of the beast. All right, we refuse to go along with this society and worship the image of this society. Therefore, they're gonna deem us what? Troublemakers or subversives. All right, that's what it says here. It says in which political subversives, all right, yeah, subversives, or were to be rounded up and placed in concentration camps during a national emergency, which is going to be really caused by these people. But it's their way to try and take us off the streets, all right, to round us up. It says when his novel was first published, Williams photocopied portions of the book detailing the King Alfred plan and left copies in subway car seats around Manhattan. As a result, word of the King Alfred plan spread throughout the black community, and the truth of its existence was often assumed to be unchallenged. Why do you think they call it Rex 84 now? It says performer and musician. See on the title says code name Rex 84. So it says musician Jill Scott Heron created the song King Alfred Plan, included on his 1972 album Free Will, that takes the plan at face value. Jim Jones, head of the apostolic socialist People's Temple, discussed the plan at length in numerous recordings of his rant-style speeches both in the USA and in Jonestown community in Guyana, treating it as completely genuine. All right, so it says the King Alfred plan, codename Rex 84, King Alfred in the event of widespread and continuing and coordinated racial disturbances in the United States. All right, what do we say, man? Do we not talk about the race wars that are coming? All right, let me just pull it up. It's like, I think it's the 24th chapter. Yeah, it's the 21st chapter. All right, so I keep reading. It says, King Alfred, at the discretion of the president, is to be put into action immediately. Participating federal agencies, National Security Council, Department of Justice, Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, Department of Defense, the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Interior, participating state agencies under federal jurisdiction, National Guard units, which you had them bring some to what, Chicago, all right, a couple months back, and what, you haven't heard anything since, all right, state police, participating local agencies under federal jurisdiction, city police. Okay, these people, all these different units, these different groups are gonna be partaking in it. Okay, and they have a thing where there's a countdown. All right, I believe it's an 8-hour countdown, where in the first is the if I'm not mistaken, the county sheriffs and the police and whatnot come together. All right, and then so on and so forth. And when the countdown reaches 0, that's when they unleash these troops out. Okay, so it says the National Security Council, even before 1954, when the Supreme Court of the United States of America declared unconstitutional separate educational and recreational facilities, racial unrest and discord had become very nearly a part of the American way of life. But that way of life was repugnant to most Americans. Since 1954, however, well, you know what? What do you do when you come across words? You look them up. All right, for the ultimate edification. All right, it says extremely distasteful, unacceptable. Okay, so basically that way of life was unacceptable or distasteful to most Americans. Since 1954, however, that unrest and discord have broken out into widespread violence, which increasingly have placed the peace and stability of the nation in dire jeopardy. Because there is going to be a race war in this nation, man. The scriptures talk about it. All right, it says this violence has resulted in loss of life, limb, and property, and has cost taxpayers of this nation billions of dollars. And the end is not yet in sight. The same violence has raised the tremendously grave question as to whether the races can ever live in peace with each other. No. All right, why not? Because let's get that first. Especially these two races right here, the nation of Israel and the nation of Esau. Okay, and the Lord said, man, we're gonna have matter of fact, I'll get this piece of first. Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. All right, I'll start at verse 13. All right, it says, and the Lord Yahweh power said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. All right, and this is talking about the time of Adam and Eve. All right, when Adam and Eve were basically deceived or beguiled, all right, into going into those wicked philosophies. So it says, and the Lord power said unto the serpent, the serpent, which the serpent wasn't an actual snake, all right. It really spiritually was the Edomites, all right. But the serpent represented a sneaky, conniving, smooth-tongued, deceptive, cunning man, all right. It says, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So the seed, all right, of these basically these Edomites, Esau, okay, and the seed of Jacob, okay, there was going to be enmity between the two. All right. Now when you look at that word enmity, it says what? Hatred. Okay. So here he's saying, here it says, question as to whether the races can ever live in peace with each other. That answer is no. All right. Especially not between Jacob and Esau. Okay. So we get another precept. All right. In the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 21. It says, and Isaac entreated of the Lord for his wife, because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, because she had twins, all right, in her womb. It says, the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? Meaning, why is this happening? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. All right, meaning that the one baby was gonna basically have there's gonna be a different nation than the other. All right, because usually if two twins are born, they're usually of the same nationality, but the Lord he divided that with Jacob and Esau. And it says, 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one shall be stronger than the other. The one that's stronger is Jacob, the Israelites, which today will be known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It says, then the other people referring to the Edomites, the so-called Caucasians. It says, and the elder shall serve the younger. And who came out first? Esau. All right. So Esau serves us. He's going to be our slave. All right. Along with these other nations. It says, each passing month has brought new intelligence that despite new laws passed to alleviate the condition of the minority, and by minority they really mean Israelites. It says the minority still is not satisfied. Demonstrations and rioting have become a part of the familiar scene. Troops have been called out in city after city across the land, and our image as a world leader severely damaged. Our enemies press closer, seeking the advantage, possibly at a time during one of these outbreaks of violence. The minority has adopted an almost military posture to gain its objectives, with all these protests and so on and so forth. It says, which are not clear to most Americans. It is expected, therefore, that when those objectives are denied, the minority, racial war must be considered inevitable. All right, and this is what a memo from the National Security Council. Okay, but it's also what? It's prophecy. Okay, it's been prophesied to have the Lord, all right, Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ ignorantly. They ignorantly call him Jesus Christ. He prophesied of this. All right, Luke chapter 21, verse I'll start at verse 7 and jump down. All right, because the disciples asked the Lord, it says, and they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be, and what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? All right, showing the end of the world. And then when you jump down, verse 9, it says, but when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, all right, be not terrified, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not by and by, because you still have other prophecies that have to come to pass. And we're living in that time right now, which is why you hear of North Korea, you hear of China, you hear of Russia, and these sanctions, and them with the war games, and them upgrading their missiles, and so on and so forth. Those are all wars and commotions. It says, then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Okay, and here it is. You have a race war is a nation rising against a nation, primarily the nation of Israel against the nation of Esau. Okay, and they said it right here, man. All right, racial war must be considered inevitable. All right, it says when that emergency comes, we must. So they said when. All right, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And they know this. These elites know this. It says, when that emergency comes, we must expect the total involvement of all 22 million members of the minority, men, women, and children. For once this project is launched, its goal is to terminate once and for all the minority threat to the whole of the American society, indeed the free world. All right, this is their plan. Okay, this is these elites' plan for you Israelites, man. Okay, let me get a nice precept from here. There we go. Give me a second. Esdras 16th chapter. Okay, man. These elites they're ready, man. All right, they're ready to unleash hell on you Israelites. All right, this is Second Ezra chapter 16 verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen. Who? Those troops. All right, Esau's soldiers, martial law troops, National Guard. Okay, it says these NATO troops, sparing none. All right, because the scriptures tell you, I believe it's in Isaiah 13th chapter. All right, it says there it is, Isaiah 13 verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined onto them shall fall by the sword. Okay, so when they get hold of you, man, they're not, you know what I mean, they're not planning to, oh man, there it is, they're not planning to let you go. Okay, it says they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Okay, that's what they're gonna be doing, man. And it's written all right here, man. It says what? When that time of emergency comes, okay, it says for once this project is launched, I'm gonna highlight it right here. All right, its goal is to terminate. When you read what's that the Georgia Guidestones, it says what? Decrease the population to what, 500 million or so. Okay, so it says this to terminate once and for all the minority threat to the whole of the American society and indeed the free world. All right, that is these devils' plans for you Israelites, man. But you have Jake that, you know what I mean, they're gone right now. This is far from what they're thinking of right now. Revelation chapter 12 verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, all right, these Edomites, these deceivers, these adversaries, is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. That's why he wants to terminate once and for all the minority threat to the whole of the American society. All right, it says the Chairman National Security Council preliminary memo, the Department of Interior. Under King Alfred, the nation has been divided into 10 regions. In case of emergency, minority members will be evacuated from the cities by federalized National Guard units. Where do you think they're going to take them? To these concentration camps, man. And that's why they've divided the nation into 10 regions. Each unit or group of guards is going to be assigned to a specific region. It says local and state police, and if necessary by units of the regular armed forces, using public and military transportation, which is why they're constantly working on these roads. Even though these roads are fine, they're making them tank proof, so when these military vehicles go on them, they're gonna be fine. All right, and it says, and detained in nearby military installations until a further course of action has been decided. This is their plan. This is written. Okay, it's written, man, and they're ready to do all this. But what? You Israelites have no clue. We're warning you and warning you and warning you, but you're not taking heed, man. It says 1, capital region. Number 2, northeast region, southeast region, Great Lake region, Great Lakes region, South Central region, Deep South region 2, Great Plains, Rocky Mountain region, Southwest region, West Coast region. No attempt will be made to seal off the Canadian and Mexican borders. All right. It says Secretary Department of Interior 849-899, King of England, who slaughtered thousands under the disguise of protecting the European religion of Christianity. As a result, he was revered as one of the most notable kings in the history of England. All right. So, man, you know, I read a little bit, and you know, matter of fact, I'll go to the end of page 2, and we'll continue it. But it says there are 12 major minority organizations, and all are familiar to the 22 million. Dossiers have been now let's get that word. All right, because this, Okay, you'll find out what this is real soon. It says what? A dossier or dossier, whatever it is.
Dossier.
Okay, that. A collection of documents about a particular person, event, or subject. Okay, files, cases. It says what? Have been compiled on the leaders of the organizations. Okay, and who they coming after? You camp leaders. They coming after brothers. They coming after the elders. They coming after all of us, man. And they're watching everything you do, every keyword you type in, everything you say, everything is being recorded, and files are being grouped up and compiled on us. It says, and can be studied in Washington. The material contained in many of the dossiers and our threat to reveal that material has considerably held in check some of the leaders, those who sold out, okay, and those who are being blackmailed, okay, because you have a lot of sellout leaders and those who are also being blackmailed to do the will of these Edomites, these elites. It says leaders who do not have such usable material in their dossiers have been approached to take government posts, mostly as ambassadors and primarily in African countries. The promise of these positions also has materially contributed to a temporary slowdown of minority activities. However, we do not expect these slowdowns to be of long duration because there are always new and dissident elements joining these organizations with the potential power to replace old leaders. Agent provocateurs, man, people who infiltrate the camps, because the scriptures did say, all right, okay, the scriptures did say it was going to happen. Galatians 2 verse 4, and that because of false brethren unawares brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty, which we have in Yahushua HaMashiach, that they might bring us into bondage. It's saying it right here, man. All right, to replace old leaders, all organizations and their leaders are under constant 24-hour surveillance. So you think they're not watching you, man? They're watching your every move. Okay, and it says these organizations are, well, we know it's way more than this. All right, you best believe Great Millstone is on there, IYC, and all these Israelite groups, we're on there, man. All right, it says the Black Muslims, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Congress of Racial Equality, Uhuru Movement, Group on Advanced Leadership, Freedom Now Party, United Black Nationalists of America, New, and then notice they keep putting that black, the New Pan-African Movement, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the National Urban League, the National Association of the Advanced of Colored People, all right, Committee on Racial and Religious Progress. Okay, so these, man, look, man, these, it's right here, man. Okay, they have it. It's all in their plans. All right, but you know, I'm gonna end it here, and you know, Lord willing, I'll continue this, okay, another time, man. This is the part 1 of it. All right, but this is the King Alfred plan, codename Rex 84. What these elites have planned, man. Okay, and they're ready to come down with great wrath. Okay, so hey, man, stay in this truth, man, and keep praying to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, because these devils have a lot planned, man. All right, Lord, this was edifying and informative to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. All right, and until next time, Shalom.